Hey, good looking. I'm so glad that you came to my kitchen today to sit there and see what we all have cooking. Grab a hold of that vine, swing right on my kitchen, and let's get cooking. Good looking. Well, today we're going to be doing another canning video, and I'm going to be showing you all how to can up your very own Swiss cheese sauce that you could use on Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. You can use it on burgers. You can use it on hot dogs. You could use it on brats. Basically, whatever you could think of, you could use the sauce on. That's how good it is. So be sure to grab a hold of that vine and swing right onto my kitchen, and let's get cooking. Good looking. Well, hey there, good looking. I'm so glad that you came to my kitchen today because we're going to be doing a canning recipe, and this recipe is going to be on canning Swiss cheese sauce. Now, what would you be using this Swiss cheese sauce on? Well, how about Philly cheesesteak sandwiches? Or a hot ham and cheese sandwich? Cordon bleu. It's so many different things that you can use this sauce on, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you will sit there and figure that one out for yourselves. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to get on with the recipe. You're going to be needing at least 4 ounces of Swiss cheese, 4 ounces of American cheese. Now, preferably, you would use a white American cheese. Well, I don't have any of that on hand, so I'm using what I do have, and I have the yellow American cheese. You're going to be needing 1 12-ounce can of evaporated milk, and that's it. So let's go on and get canning up this Swiss cheese sauce. We're gonna grab the evaporated milk. Now be sure to sit there and shake your can really well, and then we're gonna sit there and put it in a saucepan. Okay, let's go ahead, open up our can of evaporated milk and add it to our saucepan. Next, we're going to come back and we're going to cube up the cheese here. The cheese is all cubed up. Now, go ahead, add that all in and kind of break it apart as you're adding it. This is just going to help it melt faster. And then add your American. Again, break it up as you're adding it. And I have sideshow commentary. He's the one who will be eating the majority of this.
Like that, mama? Oh. Oh, no rice again.
We have our evaporated milk, our cubed up Swiss cheese, our cubed up American cheese. Now, we're just gonna add a pinch or two of salt and pepper, and then we're gonna take it over to the stove over medium-low heat and bring it up to a simmer or until all the cheese is melted. So let's add our pinch of pepper and our pinch of salt and off to the stove over medium-low, and we're gonna melt the cheese and bring it up to a simmer. Okay, our cheese sauce has come to a real nice cheese sauce.
Real nice.
I mean, look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Now, granted, maybe not all the Velveeta's melted right now, or maybe a few chunks of the Swiss isn't, but it will. Just keep giving it a good stir. Now, I got my canning jars out. Now, usually I would, if my family was all still living at home, I would either can these in half-pint jars, but seeing it's just me and my husband right now, I'm choosing to go with the 4-ounce jelly jars. Now, before I go and put it in my canning jar, I'm gonna give it one last stir. And I would tell you to give it a taste test, but my husband and I have already tasted it, and it's excellent. Like I said, side commentary. What can I say? Okay, I'm gonna move this canning jar off to the side. We're gonna move this one over. I have my canning ladle, and you're gonna want to leave about an inch head space or more. Ooh, do you see that creaminess? All that goodness. Oh yeah. I can't wait to have these on sandwiches. Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, Betsy. I may have to grab a spoon, so I couldn't do that. I grabbed myself a spoon. I'm gonna grab a canning jar. I'm gonna reach in and just remove a little bit at a time. Let's see if I removed. Oh yeah. I'm just gonna set that off to the side back there. And I'm going to continue filling up my jars. Remember, 1-inch head space. And the last little bit that's in the pan, we're gonna call that the chef's portion, but I'm gonna call it my hubby's little taste testing portion. So I'm gonna hand it off over to the cheese whore over there and let him enjoy the rest of the cheese sauce here. Okay, we got the side commentary. Finally, to be quiet. If I would have known it was just to feed him, I would have done it a long time ago. Now, normally we would take one of these and go in and debubble. Well, really, I don't have to because this was in a liquid form as we put it into our 4-ounce jelly jars, so I'm going to be skipping the debubbling part. Now, what I have in this little bowl, I have some white vinegar, I have my paper toweling. We're just going to go ahead, dip the paper toweling in, and this is the last time you have the chance to make sure there's no nicks, cracks, or any imperfections on the rim of your canning jars. So take your paper toweling that you dipped into the vinegar and run it around. I like to run it around a few times. Alright, we're going to just set that one off to the side. Now, as you see, I hope this is catching it. Let's just go down just a tad bit. As you see on this jar, some of the cheese sauce did get on the top of the ring. So, basically, when I find food on the rim of the jar, I like to sit there, and as you see, I folded that part under. That way I have clean paper toweling I'm using as I check each jar and as I'm wiping each jar. So that one's good. So we'll be back when we're all done. Let's grab our canning lids and place our canning lids onto our canning jars. And then we're going to grab our canning rings. And you're just going to want to sit there when you're putting your canning rings on. Just finger tighten. Okay? You don't want to sit there and crank them hard. You just want to finger tighten them. So we'll be back. Now, I like labeling my jars before I put them into my can. So I'm going to go ahead and label my jars. That way it's all done, and all I have to do is just take them out, let them rest for the 24 hours, come back, give them a good wash, and put them right off onto the pantry shelf. They're already labeled, so I don't have to worry about that. I labeled my jars all up. I don't know, is it coming in focus? I don't know. Yeah, I think. There we go. Now, I'm going to put these off into the hot water bath canner. We're gonna bring the hot water bath canner back up to a rolling boil, and then we're gonna sit there and start the processing time of 30 minutes. Y'all didn't think I was gonna end the video and not give you the recipe. Well, here's the recipe. Enjoy. Well, good morning, everybody. It's the next day. These have cooled off beautifully. Now, I want you to remove the rings. Look at that. You see that beautiful sauce on the inside? Look. Oh, it's set up so gorgeous inside the jars. I could not be any happier. Well, anyways, I want you to remove all the rings. Grab your canning jars by the lid here. You'll know if it's sealed because you won't be able to do this if it didn't. There, you know you have a good seal. Now, I'm going to take my canning jar here, and I'm just going to give the jar, the lid, everything, all a quick wash just in case there's any food that was stuck on the outside. I don't sit there and see any of that seeped out. So I'm looking pretty good here. So I'm going to take these over to the sink after I'm all done removing all my rings and checking my lids. And so far, I'm having perfect seals on every one of these. And that makes Mama a happy camper. So, off to the sink these babies go. All I have to do is just wash them, dry them, and put them on my pantry shelves. Well, besides giving one or two to our dear friends because they helped us out during a real hard situation here, and I promised a few of these jars to them, so I'm gonna give them some of these along with some of the bacon jam that I'm canning up, and that'll probably be the next video because his old lady asked me to please do a video on my bacon jam, so I'm gonna be doing that. Well, if you liked what you saw here today, please give me a big old thumbs up. All the thumbs up helps my channel out. And if you're not yet a subscriber, go up, hit that subscribe button, tap that little bell. That way you always be notified every time I do put out a new video. And as always, here's to happy canning, but better yet, happy eatins'. Y'all come back now, you hear?